This video was shot wide on purpose, so if you have a Galaxy S9 or S9 Plus, you can go ahead and hit that full screen button now and not have to worry about cutting off any part of the video. What's up guys, Eric here from Techisode TV, and today we're taking a look at the top 10 legitimately hidden camera features on the Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus. So this first thing doesn't actually count towards one of the 10 hidden features, but a lot of people don't know about this. To get into the camera app, all you need to do is double press the power button, and you're in. Now that we're in the camera app, let's take a look at the first hidden feature. A lot of times when you're taking a selfie and you're trying to hold the phone steady for a good selfie, you want to hold it like this so you don't shake the camera at all. But the problem is you can't reach the shutter button at the bottom. Well, did you know that all you have to do is touch the shutter button and drag it up? And voila! Now you have a shutter button over there. And you can move it wherever you want on the screen, and then whenever you're ready, you just tap it and that takes a picture. So you'll be able to hold the phone much more firmly and get a really good steady selfie this way versus trying to do one of the claw maneuvers and take selfies this way, which this will get you a somewhat decent shot, but if you can really get a good grip on the phone, you'll be able to get much more stable selfies. And when you're done, all you have to do is drag it back down to the bottom and it goes away. The next thing I'm about to show you, I'm not going to count towards the hidden features because it's not terribly hidden, but I do think it's important for you guys to know about because a lot of people still don't know about it. So I just showed you how you could get better selfies by pulling the shutter button up, but did you know that if you go into the settings, there's a shooting methods option, tap that, and now there are 3 other ways that you can take selfies easier. One way is to tap the screen. This is great because you could tap anywhere on the screen, it's going to take a photo. The problem with this method is that it's going to focus on whatever part of the screen you touch. So if you're holding the phone like this and you touch the top of the screen, it's going to focus on the top area and then take the picture. So if you're taking a picture and there's mountains in the background, it's going to focus on the mountains, not on you. And so this really isn't the best method for getting good selfies. It works sometimes, but it's not always going to be the best thing. And another thing too is you're going to end up often accidentally taking selfies when you go to you're tapping on something, you're going to do something else, or maybe you're trying to swipe and you accidentally tap instead, and it's going to end up just taking a bunch of selfies. So I personally don't keep that feature on, but if you go back into the settings again and back into shooting methods, the other 2 are much more useful. So the next one is showing your palm, and the last one is tapping the heart rate sensor. So let's go back out and I'll show you these. The show palm works by raising your hand in front of the camera until it sees it, then it does a little timer, and then takes the picture. So this is a really easy way to take selfies and still hold the phone very steady because you can raise your hand up in front of it, wait for it to recognize your hand with a yellow box. You probably couldn't see because my hand was blocking it. Let me hold this to the side here. So you'll probably be able to see a little better from this angle, but if I raise my hand in front of the frame, you'll see that a yellow box was drawn and then it did a little countdown to take the picture. So this is a really easy way to take selfies, and the timer gives you just enough time to get your hand back into a normal position before the photo is taken. The heart rate sensor option's really useful if you're trying to take a picture but you're holding something in your other hand so you can't do the hand gesture. Well, if you don't want to use this and you can't do the hand gesture, then all you have to do is put your finger on the heart rate scanner on the back and then get your face in the frame. You'll see that there's a yellow circle, and then let go, and then it takes the picture. So that's another easy way for you guys to take great selfies. The other thing to note here is that if your face is not in the frame or there are no faces detected, then no matter how many times you touch that sensor, it's not going to do anything. So it's a 2-step process. You do need to have a face detected before you can release your finger off the sensor and actually have it take a picture. I do have one more feature to show you guys in the settings that again doesn't count towards the hidden features, but it is something else that I think is important for you guys to know. If you tap the settings gear and you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see this press volume key 2 option here. And right now I have it set to record video. So regardless of whether I'm using the front or rear camera, if I touch or if I press either of the volume keys, it's going to start recording video. But you could also change it to take a picture when you press the volume keys. You can have it zoom in or out when you press the volume key, so depending on which key you press, it's going to either zoom in or out. And you can also have it just do system volume, which is how the volume keys work when you're in any other app outside of the camera. So that's it for the not so hidden but still really useful features. Now let's get back to the actual hidden features. A lot of people don't really realize that if you hit the record button, it'll actually zoom in when it starts filming. So when you're trying to line up a shot, that's not actually what you're going to get because it's going to zoom in. So a great way to line up a shot is by actually holding the record button. It's going to zoom in, but not actually start recording. So I can see, okay, now I'm too close, so I can either back up or have the people step back, and now actually get everything in the shot. And then you're ready to start recording, you just let go, and the recording starts. Now, if you didn't want to start recording, you can hold to frame up the shot, and if you think, you know what, no, I'm not ready to start recording, just drag your finger off and let go. While we're dragging things around the screen, did you know that if you drag the shutter button up or down, it will actually zoom in and out for you? This is a great way to get some nice slow zooms when you're filming. It's really nice being able to just swipe back and forth between modes, but sometimes certain modes are just so far away, and if you use them pretty often, that can become kind of annoying to have to swipe so far over to get to that mode. Well, did you know that if you long press one of the titles, it brings you into this hidden menu, and from here, you also find another hidden feature, which is a sports mode. So you can go ahead and enable sports mode, and what that's going to do is it's going to give you much more clear shots when taking sports photography. So if someone's running or some kid's playing sports or something like that, then it's going to make sure that they're not blurry when you take that photo. Going down even further, you can see that there's also a slow motion mode that's hidden. If you enable this, you get normal slow motion. So this will record at 240 frames per second at 1920 by 1080. And you'll also be able to keep your super slow-mo mode as well for your 960 frames per second slow motion. So now you can quickly switch between your high resolution slow motion at 240 frames per second or your lower resolution but super slow motion at 960 frames per second. And as you can see, there's little bars over here, so you can go ahead and move these things around wherever you want. So if you take a lot of live focus shots and you take a lot of panorama photos, you can put those on either side of auto, so every time you open the camera, you're always just one swipe away from your most used features. So if I back out, you'll see here that I now have live focus on one side, panorama on the other, and then if I go all the way to the end, you'll see regular slow motion, and if I go back here, you'll see sports. So there you go. There's another hidden feature for you guys. This next feature is especially useful when filming in dark places. If you go ahead and turn your flash to on and then start filming, it's actually going to turn your flashlight on and leave it on for the duration of what you're filming. This is particularly useful for filming in super slow motion. The reason is because when you're filming at 960 frames per second, not that much light gets into the sensor to capture a bright image, so you often end up with a much darker image when you're filming at that high of a frame rate. So when you're filming something in super slow motion, it's always good to get a little bit more light on it, especially if you're in a dimly lit area, and that's going to make that slow motion video come out much better. Now, if you have the flash set to auto, it will still turn on automatically, but it has to be in a really, really dark place. So if I completely cover the camera lens and then start recording, then it's going to go ahead and turn the flashlight on and keep it on for the duration of the video. However, this only works when it's really, really dark. So the times where you're probably going to want to use it, it's probably not going to turn on. So it's always good to manually turn it on if you're in a darker place and you know you're going to want that light on. You may or may not know that when you record a super slow motion video, Samsung will automatically add their own music to the video. It's like their own kind of theme music that they seemingly just randomly pick and put it to the video to try to make the slow motion effect seem a little cooler with the music. But there's been a few times where I just want the audio that comes with the video because I film my kids doing something and I wanted some slow motion part of it, but I still wanted to capture my kid's reaction. Well, if you look through these settings here, the options are to mute it altogether, or you can use theme music. Okay, so I can go through and look at their themes. I can go through my music, and this will go through all the music I have saved on my device. And then you have a few of these other ones here that you can go ahead and choose and listen to. And so I was looking through these, and I went back over here, and I checked all the different theme music, and I tried muting it. I tried all these different things, and then finally I realized, oh, this list just keeps going. And all the way at the end, you can finally see that there is a video sound option. Took me way too long to find this, but I'm glad it's here. So if you're having a hard time finding this feature, you have to swipe all the way to the right to find it over there. It would have made way more sense if this toggle was up here. So this was video music, and then the rest of these started after that. That would have made a whole lot more sense. But anyways, the feature is there, you can enable it, and it's just all the way in the back. The fact that Samsung phones have motion photos shouldn't be a surprise because I've had that for a while. But if you didn't know, a motion photo is basically a little video that's captured right when you take the picture. So this is just a picture of a nickel on the table, but if I tap the photo and then I tap play motion photo, it's going to play a short video of what happened right before the moment where it was sitting on the table like that. So that's a pretty cool feature, but that's in no way hidden and it's been there for a long time, so that's not one of the hidden features. There is something else I do want to show you that is hidden. So if you go ahead and tap and you play that motion photo again, and then you put your finger on it and stop it, then you can now swipe left and right through the photo and just kind of step through this little video and find a different frame, a different image that you like. And let's say I want to film it right. Oh, you know what? I like how the light is kind of shining off the coin there. It's in the middle of the spin. That's what I wanted to capture. This is what I want. All I have to do now is tap capture in the corner and it saves that little screenshot. So now this can be the photo that's kept instead of this where the coin is just laying flat on the table. Not quite as interesting. So this is a great way if you just miss a moment when you're taking a picture of, something funny or something like that, and you just miss that funny moment, then you can go ahead and go back a little bit, capture the funny moment, tap capture, and then you can keep that. So it's an awesome hidden feature. And if you tap these three dots up here in the corner, you can also save the entire video. Now what that's going to do is save about a 2-second clip of this entire thing. So if I play the animation through, you can see here's the animation, and it's going to basically save that whole animation as a video that you can then share or just save in your gallery. If for some reason you weren't familiar with motion photos or you don't have them enabled and you want to know how to enable them, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is tap the settings gear and scroll down until you find motion photo. Right now I have mine enabled, but just tap the toggle to either enable or disable it. So if you don't want motion photos for some reason, maybe you're running low on space and you want to save as much space on your phone as possible, you can go ahead and just turn that off. Most people know about live focus photos and how they give you a blurred background effect. They also know that you can go ahead and switch to a wide angle view or a close-up view of the photo. And they also know that you can tap adjust background blur and adjust how much blur is on the photo. That's great, but did you know that there are special features that are unlocked depending on what's in the photo? Excuse this somewhat boring photo, but it's going to make the point. If I go ahead and tap here, and tap adjust background blur on this photo, I get a bunch of these extra options on the bottom. And if I tap one of these, like star, you can see here that some of these background blur objects change to little stars. And I can go to polygons, little twinkle, a flower, rabbit, a music note. You can definitely see it here and through here. You can do butterflies, you can even do airplanes, and it's especially evident right here. You could clearly see a few airplanes. And that is about it, and then you get snowflake there. So that's a kind of a neat thing, and then you can, as you adjust your background blur, it adjusts how big those little icons get. And it's based on bright points in the background. So as you can see, there's a bunch of kind of bright points here. So this is going to happen if you take a picture of like Christmas lights. You'll be able to do this type of effect on the Christmas lights. So if I pull this up, you can see that the brightest points, the brightest white points in the background, are the things that are turning into the music notes, right? So you look at these applications, the ones that are the most white, those are the ones that turn into music notes. So pretty neat feature that a lot of people don't know about because it only shows up when you take specific types of photos. This last one is honestly not terribly hidden, but a lot of people don't know about it, so I figured I'd include it in this video. If you want to switch between your front and rear cameras, most people just tap this camera switching button here. But did you know that you can also just swipe up or down on your screen and it'll take you between your front and rear cameras? Not bad. So there you have it, guys, the top 10 legitimately hidden camera features on the Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus. Like the video if you liked it, share it if you loved it, and subscribe to see the rest of my upcoming Galaxy S9 Plus coverage. And while you're at it, smack that notification bell so you can be the first to know when a new video drops. That's it for this Techisode. I'll see you guys in the next one.